Hi everybody, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. So I watched Lindsay Wyrick the other day and she had these cute little palettes that were in a little green case and I was like, oh, I really like that. And it was very reasonable. So I bought me one of those, and I'd also been looking at the little wooden cases, and she had one that was like $6.99 when I looked at it, I think. I thought, well, I'll just grab that. How can I go wrong for $6.99? Meanwhile, these are all my tiny palettes. I do like making palettes. So I'm going to show you those real quick, and then I'm going to show you all the empty ones that I want to fill. And that's what we're doing today. So first off, I have my little Bob Ross box, and this is a pretty basic palette. I think I sprayed the inside of that, and it's got a general nice mix of colors. I don't use this one all that often. I don't know why. I just don't. Gee, maybe I have too many. Think, kind of. Anyway, that's that one. Then I have this little one, and this one is the one that stays in my always in the car, ready to go to a restaurant. It's a little green case, and I like that one a lot. I like how nice and thin it is. And also in that case, I keep this little thing that I made out of a Correcto type package because I just couldn't resist, just because I could. And it has some extra colors in there if I feel so inclined. So there's that. That goes with that. I have my micro portable painter, and this one has a nice range of colors. And I use this one with my standing watercolor kit that I made. There's a video on that. I will link that. And this one stays in there. It's got a little Velcro on it. This was probably my first mini palette. I bought it quite a few years ago when they first came out. It's an etcher one. And I always keep a piece of the sticky, well, it's not very sticky anymore, plastic wrap on it, because I didn't, when it's wet and you put it all back together when you're out plein-airing, I found that kind of bothered me to put it back without cleaning it. You can see, or having it dry, I should say. This is not very clean, but I like this one. It's just heavy. It's kind of big, it's kind of heavy, and yet the paint is not very, there's not very much paint of each color. In fact, I think some of them I have two spaces that are the same color if it's a color I used a lot. So there's that. This one my sister made me. It used to have my name on it. And this one I filled in with all of my granulating colors. I think they're mostly Schmincke. Anyway, there might be some Daniel Smith in there. Yeah, Rose of Ultramarine is definitely a Daniel Smith. So anyway, that's what this is. And I like that palette. It's a nice supplemental palette. So those are my tiny palettes as they stand right now. Now, I have, first off, the cute little one that Lindsay Wyrick had shown on her channel recently. And I did, I'm trying to figure out how to open it. There we go. I did take the paint out of it because I know I won't use that paint. So I'm going to fill that one. So cute. I can link her video, I think, and then you can, if you want to check out what she had to say about it, you can see that. And maybe you would like the paint. It's just not what I want, I know. So, and then this was the other one that she talked about, and I have been meaning to get me one of these for a long time, and I just didn't have the time to sit down and figure out which one I should get. And I thought, what the heck, for $6, $7, I will go ahead and do that. Because I have this cute little book, and it will go really nicely with my cute little book. I can just clip that and paint tiny little things. So I'm going to fill this one. Then I have this, one of my tins that I alcohol ink painted the top. And I got this cute little thing on Etsy. I don't know if he has any right now. They have any right now. I'm not sure. But I liked the way this worked because you could fit a whole lot in here. And I just haven't had time to fill that one. So that one is on my list. I'm not sure that all these are going to get filled with watercolor. I might do gouache in one of them because that could be kind of a nice change pace. And then one of these is going to be mine. And I am going to fill that too. I made these, well, I painted these. I should say I bought these tins and painted them. There was one more that I gave to my friend. And 3 of them are going to my sisters. And 1 of them is going to my husband. And 1 of them gets to be mine. So I'm going to let them pick which one. And I got these little inside inserts. They're a little loose, but we can tack them down. They've got sticky stuff that came with them. I got these on Amazon when they were having a sale on them, a lightning deal. They're not very expensive anyway. They came 2 to a pack. And so I got these little tins and painted them up. And I am going to fill one of those for me too. So I have altogether 4 palettes that I'm filling because I'm only going to fill one. I'm probably just going to pull one out of here and fill it and then see which one everybody wants. And I will take whatever's left over because that is going to happen probably tonight or tomorrow. So anyway, so let's get to the color picking and filling part. So I was about to start figuring out what I wanted in all these palettes, and I remembered another one that I had in the car. So I'm going to show you that real quickly. I have it in this Whiskey Painter's bag, and it's just sitting in between the seats thing in my car. And it's an old Clinique makeup container, and I have 4 colors. I have 8 colors, one being white. So it's been a while. I made this quite a while ago, and it just fits. Let me get this little Whiskey Painter travel brush. But I don't use it all that much. Obviously, I made it a long time ago. I also wanted a flat brush, so I rubber banded it to this popsicle stick so that it wouldn't get bent and messed up in there. And I made this little book. This is mostly things I did in like a restaurant looking out the window when there wasn't really much to look at a lot of times. But anyway, so that's that little book. And I have a little bottle cap in there to just put a few drops of water in because this was really, like I said, I really kind of used this waiting for a table or what have you. So I'm probably going to repurpose this container and not use it for that anymore and use, I think the one that this little guy goes in, the little metal tin, I think I'm going to replace in there because I think it will close better and it'll fit better. And this I'll do something else with. So anyway, I have another one of these too that I might find where it is because I don't think I use it a lot. And I think I can use it in this one. I think it'll fit right back in there. So, so I might find my other one and do that. Just thought I'd throw that out there. So anyway, took me a couple hours to finally come up with some colors that I want to put in some of these. Now, I didn't do this one yet. I think I'm going to put gouache in here. So I don't know if we'll get to that one today. If we don't, I promise I'll do it on another video, and then we'll paint something fun with it. Although they will be wet and they're going to want to dry, but we'll see where that goes. Right now, I have these colors to go in the little wooden one, which grew legs. No, there it is. I was going to say, and walked off my desk. So that one's for that. This one in between is the green one right here, and the one on the bottom is the white one. I'm not going to use the wisteria because I had one too many colors. I'm thinking with this one, I'm thinking that it kind of goes with this little bitty book. So I was thinking beach colors because I paint on a beach a lot in the summer, and I thought that might be fun. So that's what I had in mind when I picked these. This one I was trying to use colors that I don't generally use, that I don't have in a palette, except for indigo. I have indigo in a palette. And I doubled up on my Chromium green oxide. It's in both of these two palettes, but it's a new paint and I really like it. And then this one in here, I was thinking florals, like it would be fun to have this one as a, to go through a garden or botanical kind of things. So I was trying to pick colors, again, ones that I don't have in a palette, and that would be good to use for flowers. And then my greens, I have all these in other palettes, but I still needed greens. So those got greens that I do have in other palettes. And that is a Payne's and a Sepia. So I definitely have those in other palettes. But anyway, I looked through, I have a lot of paint, and I looked through it all and tried to get some new stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. And we'll do little swatch cards real quick so I can know what they are, because I'm a little confused. And we'll see if I have time to do the other one, because I don't want this to be too long. So I will be right back, ready to go. So I made myself little swatch sheets for each of the palettes, and I am going to start by, well, I start by filling this first spot, and then I realized it would be easier if I swatched everything first and told you what colors I got going into each of these palettes, and then just filled them. So, and then I forgot that that's what I was doing off and on here throughout the process. But this first one in this palette is Hansa Yellow Deep. And I am going to list these below so that you can refer to that instead of trying to write this down for some reason if you wanted to know what colors I was using. The second one is Pyrole Red, and these are both Daniel Smith colors. And I figured out when this was all said and done that a Q-tip or makeup applicator works really well for cleaning up the palette. This one is Cobalt Azure, and it is a Schmincke color. And this one is Ocean Gray. I forgot what I was doing and started filling them again. In my defense, I did this in the evening after a very long day. This one is Cobalt Turquoise, and it's a Schmincke color also. And then my Chromium Green Oxide, which is a Daniel Smith. And Van Dyke Brown, which is Daniel Smith. And then a Naples Yellow Reddish, which is a Renesans color. I thought it would make a nice beachy, sandy color. I could add some pink to it, add some brown to it, depending on the sand that day. And now I'm just filling them. Like I said, some of them got a little messy, but Q-tips and makeup applicators, man, cleaned it right up. They all settled very nicely when they dried, too, into their little wells. I could probably top some of them off, actually. I was having a little trouble with binder. There was a lot of binder coming out, especially in the Schmincke ones. And I did my Chromium green oxide in the small white palette, too, since I had it out. It was in that palette that it doubled, not the bigger green palette. That one's a different green. I was mistaken. So that one's done. Now I'm moving on to this one. And this one, the first one is Indian Yellow, and it's a Windsor and Newton color. And then I have Quinacridone Coral. It's a Daniel Smith. And then Opera Pink, which is also a Daniel Smith. The rest of this whole card is Daniel Smith. That's English Red Earth. And then Quin Violet. And Cobalt Blue Violet. And French Ultramarine. Green Gold. And I have the Chromium green oxide in there. And Undersea green, Payne's gray, and Sepia. And again with this one, when it was all said and done, it was really easy to clean up any extraneous paint with a Q-tip. Cotton swab, that's what they, I knew there was another name for them. A cotton swab. Or in this case it was a makeup applicator. So I will again have these colors listed below for this little white palette. Okay, on to the third one, this nice little green palette now. This first color is transparent yellow, and it's a Renesans color. It's got a little bits in it, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be a problem, but it's because it's a really nice yellow. The second one is Cadmium Red, Daniel Smith. The third is Rose Madder Permanent, Daniel Smith. Then Lavender, Daniel Smith. This one's Veriditer, I'm not really sure how you say that, and that's Daniel Smith. And Indigo, which is a core paint. Cobalt Green Pale, that's a Renesans paint. And Raw Umber Violet, Daniel Smith. And Random Gray 2022, that's a Schmincke color. They make like this odd leftover colors mixed together gray at the end of the year, and that one was 2022's. This palette was pretty easy to fill. It was just, the first one was the hardest one with those tiny little squares. But like I said, once I realized I could really clean it up afterwards, it wasn't so bad. The pale green, cobalt green pale is similar to the chromium green oxide. It's a little greener, not as muted. It is also a pretty color. So these are the palettes all ready to go with their little cheat sheets. And this one on the end, again, I'm going to do that another video, I think, because I think I'm going to use gouache for that. And I'm going to fill that in another video. So I have this book I want to show you briefly. Put these off to the side a little bit. And it's for coin collecting. And I usually cut a bunch of these little squares and put them in here. They're just cheap paper, cheap watercolor paper from Michael's. And there's probably a lot of reflection. Let me see what we're getting. And I just fill out when I get a new paint. I tape across the top, paint the bottom, and put anything important like what its makeup is, if it's granulating or not granulating, etc. And I do that for all my paints, and I can move them all around as I add to it. Those are all Daniel Smith, and then I've got Daniel Smith Primatex and all sorts. I've got just a bunch. And then in the back here, I have all my gouache. So I don't have nearly as much gouache, although I think there's some that might not be in there. I think there's a few that I have not swatched. I don't really remember why they didn't get swatched. But anyway, I'm working on it. And I just did the chromium green oxide tonight, and I had to move all these pages to be able to fit it in. So anyway, this was real helpful when I was trying to figure out what colors I wanted to use and which ones were too similar. And then I swatched them out so that I could kind of see that. And this one goes in here. And anyway, like I said, this one I want to use with my little book. This one I am going to put in its little holster, and I can clip it to the outside of my purse and not have to fit a palette in my purse. I have a little sketchbook in my purse, but I don't really have room for a palette, so I could just do that. This one I think I'm going to do the gouache, so I'm going to set that aside. And this little guy with this little tin, or a little tin similar to that, I think I am going to replace this one and put it in my little whiskey painter container with my little bottle cap for water. This fits really nicely in here. My little book, like that. I can slip a paintbrush in there. I could probably slip a whiskey painter paintbrush in there too. Oh, and my little cap. And it all fits really nicely, and that's in the car in case, God forbid, I want to paint something and all my little travel kits have moved from the car because we had to pack to go somewhere or something, or who knows what. Shall I never be without a paint palette in my life? Because, you know, what would I do? So anyway, this was kind of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too crazy. I will have to let you know how they all work out. Maybe I'll record some time painting with them. And if you have any ideas or comments on something I should or should not have done, please let me know in the comments. That would be kind of fun to see what you would have done differently. And when I get to this one, I will let you know. It will be up on my channel. And in the meantime, if you would like to, please check out my Etsy shop where I have prints of my artwork along with some original art and my cute little monsters for sale. So until next time, thank you so much for watching.